Evaluate the defensive play. Where do you think you guys are? Things you need to get better, things you're doing well?
Overall, I feel like we're in a solid spot. Of course, we're not the defense from last year, and we've kind of recognized that with the people we've lost, but we're a lot better in our own different dynamic. Week one, we had some struggles. We had some problems that we faced that Maryland gave us, and our biggest thing week two in practice and in the game was to try to correct those, and I feel like we did.
I'll ask you, I asked Exree, other than studying the Hokies, are there any guys on the team you're familiar with or you know?
Not really.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm from Ohio. Most of those guys are from like Georgia, Carolinas. Yeah.
Waller, through DC, through a buddy, but no.
Yeah, no. Nothing other than social media.
What about your knowledge of Virginia Tech and the series itself, the history of the series?
Let me see.
You played obviously in 17 when they played.
No, I didn't play in 17. I was still in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, the 17 game, that was really my first time like watching a West Virginia game because I had committed that summer. So.
Okay, so you watched the game on TV?
Yeah, that was a pretty good game. Yeah.
So your knowledge of Virginia Tech is pretty limited.
Yeah.
How ready do you guys feel to take on a ranked team this week? I mean, obviously you've only played one FBS team so far, and you lost to Maryland. And now you've got a win under your belt. You know, what do you kind of know about your team now, 2 weeks in terms of taking on a ranked team?
I definitely feel like we're ready. The rivalry definitely adds a little bit more push to it, like you said, for a ranked team. We're excited to have them come in our building and win back the trophy, of course.
What do you point to that gives you the confidence that you can pull off the upset here this week?
Really just our ability as a team, honestly. Watching film, we have confidence just like they have confidence. So it's really just about putting the ball down and going to play. Everybody bleeds. Everybody plays the same game.
Playing full-time at Mike, any change for you in that? Do you recognize things better now that you're there 100% of the time?
Yeah, definitely. Being on the outside definitely added a different dynamic, being able to see the full field a lot. But now that I'm back in the box, it definitely makes the world kind of see a lot smaller, especially like what you see. But having the knowledge of playing out there, I know what's going on outside of me. So it definitely helps me.
Harder to play in the middle? I mean, there's more traffic coming right at you.
It's a lot more traffic, but I had spring ball. I had all summer. Then I played the middle a lot last year, and then I played it and against Iowa State in a bowl game. So I definitely got my feet wet in there a lot.
What's your thoughts on their quarterback? And I guess compare him to the Maryland guy. I'm guessing the Maryland guy scrambles to throw. This guy's going to scramble to take off.
He's definitely fast.
Yeah.
Good athlete, really what I seen. Makes good decisions with the ball. Receivers get open pretty well. Knows exactly where he wants to go.
You've got 2 ranked teams here back-to-back with Virginia Tech and Oklahoma. Are you guys kind of looking your chops at this opportunity here, these next 2 weeks, to kind of make a statement about yourselves, or do you look at it and go, oh, geez, that's a really hellacious 2 weeks here that wish they were kind of separated, or?
We definitely just look at it as an opportunity. Everybody in the Big 12 is pretty much ranked around this time, especially with Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State. So it's really not much of a difference. The only thing is we play an out-of-conference team instead of a regular Big 12 team.
Just a little different. When you were recruiting, obviously conferences are shuffling members now. Did conference affiliation was it a big deal in your recruiting decision? Did you not care about it? Where did it rank when you're trying to decide where to go?
It didn't really have much of a ranking. I just knew I wanted to play in the Power 5, so as long as I had an opportunity to play against top 10 opponents, top 15 opponents, that was really it.
For being around Mesidor all the time, what do you kind of know to kind of explain why he's become so good for you guys?
Definitely his work ethic, and he literally has probably the highest motor I've ever seen out of somebody that you play against. Definitely. Every play he's giving it his all. Then he puts the work in behind it.
What does Virginia Tech do well? What do you guys got to be especially aware of?
They definitely like to pinpoint your weaknesses and attack them. That's one thing I've seen. Like what they showed against North Carolina and what they showed against Middle Tennessee were both very different, but they were both very successful in what they did because they, like I just said, went exactly at what their weaknesses were.
Hey, John, elaborate on that. What did you see from from the Middle Tennessee offense, UNT offense, and what did you see Virginia Tech do today?
Against Middle Tennessee, it was one of the first times they really ran tempo. They wanted to attack the boundary. They wanted to definitely get one-on-ones with their receivers and basically put their safeties in space. Against North Carolina, they really just played big boy football, lined up in 12 personnel, wanted to hit it right off the edges, kind of get them off their feet with stretch and different misdirections and different things like that to get their backs going downhill.
Josh, everyone's kind of talking, that's been here on the defensive side of talking about cleaning up a few things, fundamentals. As one of the leaders on this team playing in the middle, what are some of those more important things that you guys really need to get cleaned up, probably before Saturday even?
Honestly, I really can't pinpoint one exactly. It's more so just everything, just focusing on responsibility, things that you have to do as an individual player, and just different things like that. It's not really nothing necessarily something schematically, something like truly fundamental. It's really just everybody doing their own part.
What do you expect on Saturday, big boy football or tempo?
Definitely big boy football. Looking forward to it, actually.
What's the difference between being smart off the field and on the field?
You said what?
What's the difference between being smart on the field and off the field?
Let me see. Smart on the field and off the field.
Translate, I mean?
I say being smart on the field is knowing like what's coming at you, being able to diagnose plays, being smart off the field. Probably, I mean, we all in college, so I probably say classroom stuff. Maybe that's about it.
Is Doug Nestor, having played for Virginia Tech, is he giving you guys any scouting report, any intel there that about playing him this week?
I'm pretty sure Doug's our starting left guard right now, so he's just getting ready for the game.
Right, but I mean, has he talked to you guys about, hey, I used to be on this team, so I can tell you that this guy does this and this guy is good at that, or, I mean, he hasn't given you guys any tips there at all, or?
I haven't talked to Doug. I think he's just getting ready for the game.
Their tight ends, what did you see? He was a pretty big weapon for them.
Yeah, he's extremely talented. Extremely talented. I actually feel bad for him. Like that's kind of messed up, but best luck to him.
How did he measure up to the Maryland guy and then going back to Iowa State, Oklahoma, and some of the teams that have really good tight ends?
He's definitely oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I was just saying, was he in that league with some of those other really good tight ends that you faced?
Yeah, he's definitely in the league of the Iowa State tight ends. Maryland's tight end added a different athletic dynamic that we haven't seen at the tight end spot in the last couple of years. He was kind of similar to Oklahoma's guy a couple of years ago, but definitely reminds you of a typical Iowa State tight end. Athletic, can block, can catch the ball, can pretty much do everything, bigger body. Definitely a solid guy.
Josh, do you have a sense of how they might attack you? They do take on weaknesses. I'm not saying you make a weakness, but from what you've seen on them and what you know about your defense, where they might go, where they might look.
They were, let me see. They got a keen. They like to run a lot of 12 personnel. Definitely, I would watch the Iowa State game from last year. We gave up a lot, and that they caught us off guard. They played big boy football, and we didn't show up to play that day. So that puts a lot of weaknesses on the board, especially schematically for us. And those are things that we have to clean up. But at the same time, just like they know that, we know that. So we got to plan for it too.
Their left tackle's 6'9". Have you noticed him on film?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
So not just tall then?
Man, if he lock out on you, it's just pretty much over with, honestly.
You see that? You notice that he consumes guys when he's...
Yeah, I didn't even know he was 6'9", honestly. Yeah.
He's 6'9".
Yeah, I didn't know that at all. I just seen him. He can kick step good. He can lock out pretty good.
Okay, anything else for Josh? All right, thank you very much.